the two great powers in Pakistan were the military and Islam, and that he could combine the two. I guarantee you that he was no faithful Muslim. I don't talk about people's religion much, but I was in his home once, and his kids came in with football jerseys on from the U.S. that the CIA probably gave them, and a stack of Playboy magazines, which your average Muslim doesn't read. And there was a big bar with most of the fine whiskeys and liqueurs that you've heard of in the corner. And the general cussed like the soldier he was. But he started a process of Islamization. First year he was in power, he called for an international Islamic conference down in Karachi, which is a good way to tell all the 95% of the population of Pakistan that they got a leader here who's a real Muslim and who will stand up for it always. Long before his 11 years expired, he went down in a plane crash with half a dozen generals and literally and the U.S. ambassador, which made it appear that we had nothing to do with it. But he had lost the hold of the country to at least as great a degree as Musharraf has lost it for the last 6 or 8 years, however long his power was limited exclusively to guns, and you can't always depend on which way they point. And all that time, the country suffered enormously from violence and the rest. After his death, this Pakistan People's Party, which Bhutto had created, and is an incredible phenomenon. I don't purport to be able to judge the politics of Pakistan, but I know this. There are tens of millions of members of PPP who have braved a lot of misery for a long, long time to stand for what they think Bhutto stood for. And to a very unique degree, Benazir, who was a highly intelligent one, was his lengthened shadow. He took her around every place he went. You can see pictures of her standing there, a little girl with Indira Gandhi, or at the UN with Secretary General. And somehow or other, and in part obviously because of her intelligence, but she trained and lived, and I never spent any time with her that she didn't mention her father from time to time, or seek to recall what he had said and what he would do and what he would think about a particular situation. I don't have any expectation for fairness in the election on the 18th. I think the assassination of Benazir Bhutto has created the greatest crisis, the greatest foreign crisis that George Bush has faced, and for which he is responsible in this sense. Let's say $10 billion in military aid over the past 7 years, and the public backing of the President of the United States in matters large and small, against the will of the people of Pakistan, and the failure to protect, which it could have done, obviously, if it was possible at all, to protect Benazir when she came back, knowing that she couldn't protect herself. The first time I met her, when she became prime minister for the first time, I came into her, this big fancy office here. You always look at the guards. because I'd watched the guards with Corazon Aquino by that time. She had no control over them. She couldn't be president without control over them. Her vice president had control over them, General Ramos, who succeeded her and controlled her while she was president. I asked her whether she had control of her personal guard. She said, no, they're just here. That's all I know. It's their duty to protect me. I said, that's not good enough. You need to have your own protection. You need to know they're loyal to you, or you're not really in charge. When Haiti was in its greatest turmoil, the president of France sent his top Secret Service, they don't call them that, but Presidential Protection Force over there to train people to protect the little priest who was soon to become the president of Haiti. And they saved his life, even with small arms, against the military. I urge Benazir to get some professional advice from Pakistanis and get your own people in there to guard you and to plan for your escape if you have to go. But she didn't. Not that that had anything to do with her death. She probably couldn't. It may have been an insurmountable task. But not only did they fail to provide the protection for her, which they could have. I mean, this murder occurred in Pindi, which is the headquarters for all the military. And they know every nook and cranny of the city. But Pakistan desperately needs an end to military government and an opportunity to choose its own destiny. And it has brilliant people who can do it if they don't all get killed. And we have to see that our government, which in my opinion is responsible for the years of military government since 1977, with the 3 small periods of civilian government in there, stands for what we always claim we've stood for, and that is self-determination of nations, the right of Pakistan to exercise democratic processes to determine its own future. And then we ought to support it with tens and tens of billions of dollars to help feed its hungry and cure its sick and educate those who never had a chance to go to school or to go to school enough, and make it the great nation that its people deserve. Thank you.